LEAPS is an acronym that stands for 5 tools you can use to help you gain voluntary compliance from those you're dealing with.
L for listen, E for empathize, A for ask, asking the 5 types of questions, P for paraphrase, which by the way is the number 1 most powerful tactic known to man in communication, and the S stands for summary, which is the ability to make decisive statements and be seen as being decisive. Let's take them one at a time. We've talked about listening over and over in this course. The bottom line is you got to look like you're listening. By the way, what's the opposite of talking? Well, you probably said listening. Well, you're dead wrong. The opposite of talking is more like waiting. When you and I talk to a subject is waiting, or it could be your spouse, waiting to butt in, wait to have their turn, wait to hear what they want to hear, don't hear what they don't want to hear. Very few people listen well. Tactical listening is a huge skill. It has 4 levels. To be a good listener, you have to be open and unbiased. Then you have to hear just what they said to you literally, and you can mishear because of noise. Or thirdly, you have to interpret what they say, because as we just said, what they say is not what they mean. So that number 4, if you're going to act appropriately, there's the 4th, you've got to know how to listen. And by the way, tactical listening will save your life, because one of the street survival truths I know is this: when people are upset, could be your kids, your spouse, or a subject in the street, when they're upset, they will tell you everything you need to know if you'll just listen. They'll tell you how to handle them, but you gotta listen, and that's no small thing.
Empathy is difficult for law enforcement officers. We feel that our command presence and our need to perform our duties doesn't allow us the luxury of being empathetic. But I can tell you that empathy is the one thing that keeps reoccurring, and I keep seeing in all the research I've done on communication concepts, is that empathetic communications is the only way that people understand that they are being heard and helps resolve conflict. The best example of that is tactical empathy. If you think about it in this method, the way I see the problem, the way you see the problem, the way I see the problem through your eyes, it acknowledges that I know and understand what is going on for you, and if I perform my duties with that understanding, I may say the right thing, I may take a less assertive position, I may say something that is going to make this situation easier on the person I'm dealing with.
The A in LEAP stands for ask. Now there's 5 general questions that we want to focus on. There's a fact-finding question, there's the leading question, there's an opinion-seeking question, there's a direct question, and there's the general question. All of those are key components in the LEAPS acronym, in asking questions, whether you're in an interview of a suspect or the interview of a victim. Probably most important is to understand that comprised in those questions are the who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Paraphrasing is when you're putting somebody's words into your own words. As you're going through a conversation or an interview with somebody and they're telling you bits and pieces of information, you repeat it back to them, but you put it in your own words, because that's what you're going to take back to the station and write down in your report. So you want to make sure that you have it accurately. You're not going to be able to remember everything that they say verbatim, so you want to make sure that what you put down is what they meant. Maybe not what they said, but what they meant.
And finally, summary. There's 2 things about summary you need to remember. Number 1, you are paid to make a decision. So when you announce a decision on the street, it needs to be clear, brief, and unarguable in tone. If it goes on too long, it's no good. If it doesn't sound unarguable, it's no good. And secondly, you often get interrupted when you're working police work. You use a little bit of summary, I call it the fishhook technique. To rehook when interrupted, never pick up where you left off. Always go back. Here's summary. Okay, we had just been saying A, B, and C. Is that not right, sir? You get a nod. Now then, and you pick it up. Don't just do it without. That's how you maintain control. That's how you give the illusion of control as well. And you get good information. LEAPS, the 5 tools to better communication.